All right, what's up everyone? Welcome back, and today I'm actually really excited because we're gonna be reviewing the Adams pressure washer. Adams is a big detailing company, so I'm expecting their pressure washer to be geared towards detailing, and I'm expecting some good numbers from this thing. So let's go ahead and get it straight into it. I'm really excited to test this thing out. First things first, guys, right off the bat, I did order it, and it does come in a very generic box, as you can see here. So maybe there's another box inside, but this one out here just says pressure washer 2.0, made in China, high pressure rinsing system. That's it. So let's go ahead and unbox it and see what we got. Oh, I can already tell it's labeled inside. It has a better box. That was really gonna concern me if that was their packaging for this thing. It was gonna be like, I really thought maybe they just went completely generic and just put their name on it to get some sales, but that doesn't look like the case. It's got a nice box, so we're gonna pull this out. Alrighty guys, so here are the specs for the pressure washer. Right off the bat, it says it right on the side. 2,500 PSI max pressure, 5,800 PSI max inlet water pressure, 1.4 gallons per minute. That confuses me a little bit. 40-foot long rubber hose. So right off the bat, they're giving you a 40-foot hose, which is way better than some of the other standard big box pressure washer companies. They give you a 20 or a 25-foot hose. So the fact that they're giving you a 40, I really like that. And then they also include a 0, 15, 25, and 40-degree tips. All right, guys, so I actually ordered mine off of Amazon. I got, as you can see here, it's 292 bucks on Amazon. But on the Amazon listing, it shows 1.8 GPM at 2,500 PSI. So that's a little bit weird. When you go to Adams' website specifically, it does show the correct 1.4 GPM, 2,000 PSI. What? So okay, so this is strange. This is the pressure washer, and it's rated, it says 2,000 PSI with a flow of 1.4 GPM. So again, if we come back to the pressure washer, it's here. This is the actual Adams product, but on the box it shows 2,500 PSI max pressure at 1.4 gallons per minute. Again, on Amazon, it shows the correct 2,500 PSI, but it shows 1.8 gallons per minute. On the listing on Adams' website, it shows the correct 1.4 gallons per minute, but it shows 2,000 PSI with a working PSI of 1,700 PSI. So very strange, very confusing. Personally, since it was called Pressure Washer 2.0, I actually thought that this thing was supposed to get 2.0 gallons per minute, which I don't know what to expect now, because, like I said, it's very confusing between the platforms, between Amazon's listing, between Adams specifically, their listing on their website, and what's listed on the box. So I'm glad I'm actually going to test this thing out so we can actually get a true value of what the PSI and GPM are. All right, guys, so in regards to the pressure washer 2.0, I just did some research, and this is Adams' second iteration of a pressure washer. Their first one, right on their website, they have a video saying that it wasn't very good, like the water inlet and all that kind of stuff was plastic. They changed it to a brass fitting. So this is their second go around, and they have aimed apparently to make this thing night and day better. Also on the video that's directly on their website, they do state 1,700 PSI working pressure at 1.4 GPM using the tips that come with the machine. Now, they said any of the tips, so I'm assuming they all have the same orifice size. It's just a different spray pattern. So we'll take a look at that. Again, 1,700 PSI at 1.4 GPM is pretty good, but I would like to drop that PSI down to 1,200 and increase the GPM as high as I can. So we'll do some testing and see what size orifice for the spray nozzle is best to reduce that pressure and increase the GPM. All right, time to unbox. All right, guys. Secondary box to open up is the actual one. The first one was just shipping container stuff. So let's go ahead and put this thing on the ground. Take out some of the inserts. They do a good job of packaging it so that it's not rocking around inside the box. So there we go. Whew. there we go. There it is. Adams pressure washer 2.0. So first things first, the wheels have a soft rubberized coating to them. They are a bit loose though, I mean, as you can see. Not an ideal wheel, but will do the job just fine. Telescoping handle works flawlessly. So there's a big red push button back here. Right now it's locked in place. Push the button, lift up, doesn't go back down, nice and steady. Doesn't rock too much either. Push it back down, you're good to go, locks back in place. That's probably the best telescoping handle I've seen on a pressure washer. Usually the button's up here. This one seems to work super well. Good job, Adams, on that. Now, really quickly, we'll look at the 4 pressure washer tips. Again, I don't know what orifice size these are, but we'll test them out to some other ones and see where we're at. We have a 0-degree nozzle, 15, 25, and 40-degree nozzle. While I'm detailing cars, I'm typically just using the 40, but it's nice to have these other options. Right on the side here, you have a 35-foot power cord. Nice storage. Let's see here. Yeah, this one flips around so you can get it on and off nice and easily. Has a ground fault interrupt outlet on it. Standard across all pressure washers, really. Now, again, on Adams' website, it does show 2,000 PSI at 1.4 GPM. There's a sticker right here on top of the machine that says Adams Polishes pressure washer 2.0, 120 volt, max pressure 2,500 PSI. So I think that's what the manufacturer states, whoever they got this built through, probably states that 2,500 PSI, but they wanted to be more realistic because some pressure washers list the crazy number and they just don't perform at that number. So I think they just wanted to make it more realistic. You probably can get this thing up to 2,000 PSI, I would assume, if you get a smaller orifice nozzle. We'll test that as well. Right on the front here is our power switch. Basic on off, really easy, doesn't feel like anything sketchy. No loose pieces. This should be an easy thing. You're not gonna have to worry about it breaking. And that's pretty much it. So our water inlet valve is brass. Flip it around to the back. Our water outlet valve is some sort of metal as well, and really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out some more stuff. It does come with this little holder here. Woo. This little holder here, I'm assuming that's for the pressure washer wand. And it looks like this just pops right on the side. No? Maybe not, I don't know where that goes. Maybe down here? Yep, it goes right down here. Okay, so there is a little cage assembly that will go onto the front. Right now you can see it's kind of leaning forward. There's a cage assembly right here. So we'll set it up in the front. And I don't know if it requires any screws or not, but let's take a look. Now, this thing didn't, quality control wise, it's all fine, not a big deal, but this is a little bit scuffed up. I don't care, it's just gonna get more scuffed up, but just so you guys know. Let me lay this guy down. Yeah, so there's a couple holes on the bottom, you insert that and then screw it in. I just gotta find the screws. All right guys, now that we've got the machine out, let's go ahead and jump into the accessories and take a look at what they give you. I think that's kind of where they were going with this. They wanted to give you an all-inclusive kit to make your life easier and make it more efficient for detailing. So we're gonna look at these right now. Alrighty guys, so first things first, we're gonna look at the hose. Again, they actually give you a 40-foot hose. So right off the bat, that is a much better value than any of the other pressure washers that give you a 15 or 20 foot, or sorry, a 20 or 25 foot. Typically, that just doesn't get you anywhere. You can't get around a car with it, so it's really a waste of time. But these guys give you a 40-foot hose. And they say it's a steel braided hose. It says it's rated to 3,263 PSI. Sort of like a nylon braided hose, I guess. I don't see the braid So anyways, they give you the 40-foot hose, and it looks pretty good. Nice reinforced ends so that when you're going like this, it doesn't just completely kink over. Let's see here. It's not kinking really, really well, and it's very pliable, very pliable. So big win. I mean, you can see right now, yeah, big win. That's a great hose. So just so you guys can see, my standard hose that I always like is the Uberflex hose. It's lighter weight, doesn't kink, and it's super pliable. And this is 50 feet. However, with this one, they give you a 40-footer. I would say just keep this thing. It works, it's gonna serve its purpose well. I don't know what's going on with this. It looks like they put some sort of like coating or tape over the lettering, and that looks like it's gonna come off. Like, let's see here, yeah, here. Yeah, it comes right off. So it's probably just for packaging so that the numbers stay on there. But anyways, the hose is good. 40 feet is enough. I prefer 50, but 40 is enough. Again, both sides have the reinforced ends, just like the Uberflex does. And instead of having the screw-on M22 fitting, M22 by 14, this simply has quick connects. So that brings us to accessory number 2, and that is the male end of the quick connect. All right, now this machine, the connection point where the hose gets hooked up to is an M22 by 15 millimeter connection point. So what that tells me, yeah. So if for some reason you did want to change out and get the Uberflex hose, they still give you this piece. So all you would really need to do is get a basic M22 by 14 quick connect for this side, the female end, and you're good. No need to get the adapter because they already give you this. Just get the quick connect and you're all set. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next accessory item, which is the pressure washer wand. This is a little stubby wand. This is what I like. You can see in my other videos, I'm always recommending you guys upgrade to a stubby. And this is the one I like. The one I like does have a swivel built in, but that's not always necessary because as you can see, guys, just with the quick connect, it rotates in that quick connect, right? So the only problem with that is sometimes you catch an edge and it can back out the fitting. So the swivel is a great idea, but not totally necessary. The one they give you though does not have a swivel. However, they give you the quick connect already ready to roll. Just plug her in, set, take the male end of this quick connect over to the machine. So right here is the connection point for the hose. Just take your quick connect. It's already got gaskets inside, so you don't have to worry about taping it up or anything. Just put it on there, tighten it down. Good to go there. Grab the other quick connect on your hose and you're set. So they make that super easy so you guys don't have to sort anything else. You can just buy the unit and it comes all the stuff ready to roll. Right on the front, it's just this hook piece. You can roll up your hose and fit it in there nicely. All right guys, so now we're gonna go ahead and hook it up to a pressure gauge and actually test the working PSI and working GPM and see if we can modify that at all with using different tips to see if we can make it to my ideal preference of 1200 PSI at 1.6 or higher GPM, but 1.5 is okay. I'm assuming if they're saying this is 1700 PSI at 1.4, we should be able to get it to 1200 PSI at 1.6 or so. So anything above that, I'd be really surprised and pleased. One more thing to note really quickly, guys, is they do give you this attachment here and here, which is typically for a long pressure washer wand. They don't give you that, so this is just a generic outer fitting, I would assume. But you can either leave those on or take them off, it doesn't matter. All right, guys, we've got the unit plugged in, hooked up to water, and hooked up to the machine. Now, one thing to note, again, I always make this note in all of my pressure washer videos. I really prefer how they did this. water inlet is on this side, water outlet is on the complete opposite side. I always prefer that because then you're not getting tangled up. So good job, Adams. Let's go ahead and test the PSI. All right, guys, once again, just while I was getting this thing set up and unwinding the hose, fantastic hose. Didn't tangle up on me. It's a great hose. No need to upgrade this thing. It's 40 feet long. You're good to go. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and test the PSI now. So here's my pressure gauge. I'm just gonna go and plug it in line to the hose, to the gun. So now we are set and we can start testing the PSI. I'm gonna go ahead and fire the machine on. Wow, unbelievably quiet, guys. Unbelievably quiet. I don't even know if you could hear that when it fired up, but it does have the total stop system, so it's completely quiet now that the pressure is built back up. But even while it was building up, super, super quiet. The pressure washer is heavier than most that I've experienced, so I'm assuming that they use a really high-end pump inside of it. But super quiet. Quietest I've tested. All right, now for the pressure test, they said you get 1700 PSI at 1.4 GPM across the board of all the nozzles. So I'm just gonna use a 40-degree nozzle. That's my favorite one to use while detailing. And then also it's the easiest one when I'm checking the GPM because it's not splashing as much. All right, 40-degree nozzle is the white one. Pop it on there. Let's check this thing out. Spot on, 1700 PSI. So far, so good, Adams. Doesn't show what, actually, let's see here. Yeah, so sometimes these nozzles will be listed with what size orifice they are. These are not. So I'm gonna go ahead and check I have a 2.5, a 3.0, and a 3.5. I'm gonna check those, see which one gets me down to a lower PSI. Alrighty guys, so I've got 3 nozzles here. They're different angles, but they're each a different orifice size, so that's what we need to be concerned with. So first off, I'm gonna be checking this 25-degree nozzle. This is a 2.5 millimeter orifice. The yellow is a 3.0 millimeter orifice at 15 degree, and then the 40 degree is a 3.5 millimeter orifice. So I'm just gonna throw them all in and see what we get. Starting with the green 2.5 millimeter orifice. PSI. So 2.5 millimeter orifice is probably what I want. Let's go ahead and check the 3.0. 1000 PSI. So this 3.5 is probably going to get us to 850, 900 PSI, something like that. So just shy of 800 PSI. So I guess let's just stick to the 2.5 millimeter orifice because that one got us to 1100 PSI. I like that as my working pressure for car detailing, so I like that a lot. Now, that just goes to show that the nozzle that it comes with is a pretty small orifice size. Yeah, pretty small. So I'm gonna, just real quick for fun, the smallest orifice sizes that I ever see are from the Ryobi units. When you get a pressure washer from Ryobi, their numbers are always higher on the PSI because their orifice is so small. So I have one of those over here. I'm gonna plug in the Ryobi nozzle and see. So as you can see, there's an R that I wrote on there because it's from Ryobi. And there's our 2000 PSI. So I'm assuming, I don't know what Ryobi's nozzles are, I think 1.5-ish, maybe smaller. The good thing is a lot of other pressure washers, when you, like the active pressure washers, when you plug in this tip, it trips up the motor. This one, not. It's all good. And I gotta tell you, right when you turn this thing on and turn it off, it is instant. Feels super solid. So anyways, we're going to just test the 2.5 millimeter orifice at 1100 PSI, as well as the factory 40-degree nozzle that's getting 1700 PSI, and see what we get. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and test the GPM on this unit the same way we always do. Just gonna stick the nozzle into the bucket, run it for 1 minute. There's a measuring guide on the side, and that'll tell us what our gallons per minute rating is. So I got my stopwatch here on my phone. We're gonna start with the 40-degree factory nozzle, whatever this orifice size is, I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna plug that in, set it up in the bucket, and let me get the timer ready. All right, here it is, and here we go. Alrighty, so there we are, factory nozzle. We are sitting at, let me let that settle a little bit real quick. It's 5 liters exactly. I usually do this by quarts, but I guess that doesn't matter. Let me go ahead and do by liters because it's exactly at that point. All right, so that puts us at 1.321 gallons per minute. So now we're sitting, okay, now it's settled. We're 5.25 quarts. So let's just see what that is, just to make sure we're at the same thing, 1.32. So in quarts, it's showing 1.312. So very close, but yeah, so basically 1.3, a little bit above 1.3 gallons per minute. So a little under the 1.4 that they're rating. The PSI was spot on. This isn't complete science here, so take that for what it's worth as well. It's close, but not quite to 1.4. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the 2.5 millimeter orifice nozzle. Again, I will have these linked down below for you guys if you want to get a different size nozzle like this. The one I linked to will have a 2.5, a 3.0, and a 3.5, so you guys can decide. And it's a whole range, so you get the whole, the different angles and everything in each orifice size. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and test this one. Again, 1100 PSI at whatever GPM we figure out. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and switch out the nozzle. Plug it in. Get our stopwatch ready again. And here we go. That did not increase us that much. So we might be getting the 1.4 gallons per minute now. We are at exactly 5.5 quarts. So at that, yeah, it just increased to 1.375. So we're pretty much we're at the 1.4 gallons per minute at 1100 PSI, which is good. It's not ideal, but it's good. Is it worth the price? I think I paid $292 on Adams's website. They list at $350 or $360. The accessories they give you are great. By far better than any of the other pressure washers I've reviewed. The hose is great. The short pressure washer wand is great. The fact that it comes with the quick connects is great. However, with those numbers, basically you can get a really cheap unit like the Portland pressure washer from Harbor Freight, and I can't remember exactly what the numbers were that I got on that. I'll check back and list them here, but it got a higher GPM than this. And the accessories that it comes with are terrible. But you spend a little bit of money, you get that Uberflex hose, you get the quick connects, you get the new pressure washer wand, the short one. You're in it for like $100 maybe, and I think you can pick up that pressure washer for $80. So you're in the thing for $180 versus this is twice. If you buy it on Adams' website, it's twice the price. So with that said, that pressure washer unit, the pump and everything feels very, very, very good. It feels more robust than any of the other ones I've tried, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, longevity wise, I don't know, but it feels really good. It's heavier. Now, does weight matter? I don't know. But with that said, guys, the majority of your, like I said, if you can get that Portland pressure washer or the active pressure washer is $200, and 220 or something like that. And then you get the aftermarket hose and wand that I recommend. Again, the accessories kit is basically $45 for the hose, $40 for the wand, so you're at $85. Some quick connects, you're at $100 basically. And then the unit itself is 220 or $25. So you're at 325. Sorry, yeah, 325. You're in a similar price range as this thing, but with that unit, you're getting a full 2 gallons per minute at 1200 psi or 1100 psi, I think. I'll link that video up top here so you guys can check that one out as well. So that's it, guys. That's your review. The Adams unit. It's a good unit. It performs well. I like it. They were accurate. The biggest thing I appreciate with them for doing this is they were accurate with their numbers. They show 1700 psi working pressure at 1.4 GPM, which the 1.4 GPM, we're right there. It's very close. So the only problem I had is I can't increase the GPM that much without dropping the pressure way too low. So that's it, guys. I hope that helps you. Please, as always, make sure you give me a big thumbs up down below. Like the video and make sure you subscribe. We have a bunch more pressure washer reviews and other content coming up, and we have some more giveaways coming up, so make sure you guys subscribe. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.